Different allergies have different intensities with them. I mean, I'm sure you have come across someone who says, "Oh, I'm allergic to this thing. Maybe I'm allergic to, animal protein. I'm allergic to dog fur." We have people who are allergic to pollen and just to dust. Some people that are allergic to things like, nuts, ground nuts, and just types of nuts and so on. So, among all those allergies, we have some that are mild, where someone will be uncomfortable just very shortly when they're in the presence of that thing they have an allergy for, and then life goes on. Others actually will take a longer for them to recover, if I can call it, from that allergic moment that they have had. And others might not actually recover. We have people, say, for example, like people who have asthma. When someone who has asthma, say, for example, comes in contact with pollen, or dust or something like that, you see, they already have an asthmatic condition. So when it adds to something they are allergic to, it might really be bad. And we've had some allergies that actually have resulted to people dying, to people losing their lives. Like now the asthma we're talking about, and this person comes in contact with pollen and dust and so on. If there's no help for this person, the wheezing might go on, their gasping for air might continue until they cannot do that anymore, and that can be actually very bad. So yes, some allergies are mild, others are not. Another example of an allergy that is not very interesting for you who has actually witnessed this is for people who are allergic to nuts. Yes, nuts, ground nuts, njugu, if I can call it in my Swahili language. Some people actually have a mild allergy of that type, others is very strong. And we've had situations where someone either accidentally ends up eating a product that had nuts, and this person actually will end up swelling until you cannot recognize them anymore. So can you imagine if that situation happens and there's no first aid around, them to get the injection they will get for the situation to be contained and so on, that person actually can end up losing their lives. So yes, some allergies are very deadly if they're not contained in time, and others are fairly mild. Another example would be, say, people or even a kid who is allergic to dog fur. You must have come across someone where you are just comfortably in a conversation until a dog shows up and someone starts sneezing, and some of them can sneeze and sneeze and sneeze and so on, and most of the time you realize that such people are allergic to dog fur. And for such a person, if you just take away the dog and make sure you have cleaned and there's no fur around, such a person becomes okay and comfortable. Others, though, don't. You might have to fumigate the place, and they might have to vacate the place and so on. So again, these allergies are really, really different. Now, it will help if you are very keen to your health and you just get to know what you are allergic to, if you have any allergy, so that then you try to avoid, say, if it's an intake, you try to avoid eating that food that you're allergic to. If it's an environment, say you are usually very allergic so there are people who are allergic to building paints, to these house paints, depending with what type of paint. Is it water-based, is it oil-based, and so on, that you just avoid such things because they inhibit their breathing, they make them uncomfortable, and so on. So if you know that you have any type, you just want to avoid the situation or the environment that has that thing that you are allergic to, and then life goes on. If you have a family member, a baby, or someone who is even old enough that is allergic to something like dog fur, you just want to avoid having a pet or a dog in your compound, and so on. If you have a family member who has asthma and usually gets asthmatic attacks, you just want to avoid them getting that exposure to pollen, to dust, and so on, just to manage the situation. And because some allergies really don't like have medication per se, like you won't say you will go to a medical facility and get a jab for dog fur allergy, and so on. You just have to learn to live with it. So yeah, here comes again, like I keep saying, we are human beings first, before the condition that we have, before the disability that we have, and so on. So again, here compromise calls for us to just, adjust. If we have someone, like I'm saying, who happens to be allergic to dog fur, then However much of the rest of us being, dog lovers and so on, we might actually have to avoid having a pet in the house, or just keeping dogs at a distance, at a safe distance from them, and so on. So yes, I just needed to mention there, guys, some allergies are mild, others can be very dangerous. And yes, some of them can actually lead to a disability, a condition, or even to death. So asante sana, I hope that helps someone to just learn something or two about allergies. And let's keep spreading this good information by, you subscribing, putting on the notification bell for you to be able to be getting a new notification every time I post a new episode. And also just share this, share this, like, drop me a comment and so on. And are you allergic to anything? Or do you know someone, a family member, a colleague, a neighbor, a friend who happens to have a certain allergy? And usually, how do you feel about that? Do you think you usually do a right thing, or are you now able to probably handle it better after you have watched this? Just share your experience, and let's keep expanding this knowledge database on some of